Hello all, welcome to my channel. Let's continue with the C Sharp interview series. We have started with the OOPS concepts in our previous classes, and today also we will be looking into the OOPS concepts only. So if anybody is coming to my channel for the first time, please do subscribe and check out my previous videos as well. If you have any doubts or if you like my videos, please mention it in the comment section. It would encourage me to do more videos like this. Okay, so now let's start with today's class. Basically, when we talk about object oriented programming language, there are four basic principles that we have to know, that is abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So let's start with abstraction. So what is abstraction? So general definition that we see for abstraction is hiding internal details and showing only the relevant details to the user. So basically what does abstraction means is it just hides all the implementation or internal details from the user, and it shows only the required details. Let me show you an example. Here I created a class called person, and this class has a few fields, age, last name and first name, and here I created a method, and this method has its own implementation. Now from another class I created an instance of this person, and I am able to call this method using that instance, right? So here there is no need for me to give the entire implementation of is adult again. So I can directly access this method without showing or having the entire implementation of this method in the another class. So this is because we are following object and class format, right? Here we created a class and we created object of this class, and we are able to access this method using that instance. So this is called abstraction. So basically abstraction is nothing but it gives us a feasibility to show to the user or external classes the ability to access, I mean only the ability to access only using required details, not the entire details. So it will hide implementation or internal details, and it will show to the user only the required details. So here we are talking about abstraction that is specific to this method only, but we can give abstraction to the system level as well. System has nothing but this class, so I can call this entire class also as abstraction only, because see, I am modeling this class called person using these fields and the behavior of these fields also. So if I wanted to access get name also, I can access it from this another class. So if I create one more indexer, or if I create any other members within this class person, I will be directly able to access here without its implementation, not just methods. Here I am providing abstraction for this entire system. So basically abstraction is nothing but modeling the relevant fields and interactions, that is different methods, indexers and all, as classes. So we are clubbing the behavior of that class into a, I mean the behavior of that system as a class, and we are giving an entire abstract representation to that system. So I can access any field or any member of the class using an object from an another class without even knowing the implementation of that method or any member of that class. So this is abstraction. Now I can take this abstraction to the next level, like to 100% abstraction. So here there is abstraction, but still it's not 100%. So I can take this abstraction to the next level using abstract classes and interfaces in C Sharp. So let me show you how can I implement abstract classes and interfaces. So now I am creating a abstract class. So I have to create abstract class using keyword called abstract. So here inside abstract class, as I said, abstraction is only about what we do, not how we do. We are not bothered about the implementation. We just define what all this the behavior of this class. So now I will just declare the method signature here. So we call this, we have to declare this method also as abstract. So this is about abstract classes. So here I am declaring this method. Okay, I have to make this method as also as abstract. Okay, so now here I will be implementing this abstract person. So what does that mean is, okay, here I have implemented this abstract person, and the implementation of this abstract method, that like what we do is mentioned here, and how we do, we can define, we are defining it here. So the implementation for this method is defined here. So this is about abstract classes. And one more thing is, you cannot create an object for a abstract class, that is you cannot instantiate an abstract class. See, when I try to create an object, it is giving me error. Cannot create an instance of the abstract type, but I can assign it to a person. So this works. So when I try to call person dot is adult, this implementation will be called. So basically we are just separating, we are providing 100% abstraction here. So we are just showing what is done, not how is done. How is done is actually given in a separate class. So this is about abstract classes, and the same functionality can be achieved using interfaces also. So now I am defining an interface. So here this is an interface. So in interface also we can only define what we do, not how we do. We just give the signature of the methods, and we can implement this interfaces inside this. I mean the same thing, we will implement this interface and we provide our own implementation inside this. So same way we cannot create an object for interfaces, we cannot instantiate it. So if we see, cannot create an instance of the abstract type or interface, but we can create a abstract interface or abstract class variable, and we can point that to a person object, so the class that it implements. So this is about interfaces. So next is encapsulation. So abstraction is nothing but hiding internal details and showing only the required details, and modeling the entire system in such a way that abstraction is shown. Other is encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but binding the fields and methods. So what is encapsulation is, for example, here I have a field. So let me remove this. Okay, here instead of declaring this as properties, no, I'll just declare fields. So here I declared data, three fields, age, last name and first name. So but I made this as public, so I'll be able to access this data of this person directly outside the class. So I'll be able to directly manipulate it. So for that we have to provide encapsulation. That is nothing but we have to first make our field as private, and then create a public property, which we have already seen this. and create a public property for this age. So here so basically what does that mean is we have to access the fields within a class only through methods or properties, not the value directly. So that is the reason we will be making this field as private. So private means we will be able to access this field only within this class, and externally we will mark this a property as public, and so that externally you can access this field using this property only. So here you can put any kind of restrictions. For example, if you wanted to add any validation, for example here I wanted to give access only to certain people. So here inside this set I can do that. So if value greater than 19, then only, so here I can restrict users to set. So here let me give, so now basically I can restrict users. Now I can tell if else. So if you try to assign, if anybody's age is greater than 19, then only that value will be assigned, or else we are not allowing that values age will be 0. So we are here providing some kind of restriction. So in real time we can provide a restriction like only a certain set of people can access this private field called age. So now if I try to give a value less than 19, so if you see, so it gave me 0. So here this is about this is the use of properties basically. So here we are actually combining our actual field, and this field we will not be accessing directly, we will be accessing this field only through the property. So as I told you earlier, these two fields combined together is only the shortcut that we are using. So int age. So here we gave some restriction, but if there is no restriction, then we have this is the shortcut. Like if it is directly getting the value, and if it is directly setting the value, then this is the shortcut for the property. So basically the purpose of what encapsulation is just binding the fields and methods. So providing security to the fields, you should be accessing fields only through the methods or properties or indexers, or you should be accessing fields or data that a class has only through the methods. That is what encapsulation means. So hiding the internal state and functionality of an object and only allowing access through a public set of functions. So encapsulation is nothing but binding data and methods, and we should be able to access our data only through the functions, so that everybody will not be having access, and we can provide some restrictions in the functions. So this is encapsulation. So encapsulation can be achieved using access modifiers. So access modifiers we have been seeing, but let me tell you, there are different kinds of access modifiers called public, private, internal, protected, internal. So yeah, what does public means is, if you mark any member of a class as public, it will be accessible everywhere within the class, outside the class, and even within the entire application or assembly. If you mark public, that field or that property or that entity is actually accessible everywhere within the application. So if you mark any entity as private, it is accessible only within that class. So if I mark a field as a private, that field is accessible only in this class. So here now I made this age as private. So if I try to access this age, if you see, person.age is inaccessible due to its protection level. So this age is private, so you will not be able to access it outside the class. Okay, next is internal. So if we mark any entity as internal, it is accessible only within the assembly. So basically within the specific assembly. And if we mark any entity as protected, we will be able to access this field in this class as well as in the class in which it is inherited. For example, I will create a class called student. If I try to access, see, it is accessible. So I'll be able to access this entity in this class as well as in the class in which it is derived. Next is protected internal. So protected internal is nothing but it will be accessible in its class, in its derived class as well as in the entire assembly. There is one more called, okay, next is private protected. So private protected is accessible in the assembly as well as in its own class. So let me show you detailed. See, if you see public access modifier, if you declare any field as public, it is accessible everywhere. It is accessible within its own class, within its derived class, in the same assembly, and a non-derived class. So it is accessible everywhere. So if it is protected internal, it is accessible within its own class and it within its derived class in the same assembly, and it is accessible in the non-derived class in the same assembly as well as in the derived class from the different assembly, and in the non-derived class it is not accessible. And protected is accessible within its own class and its derived class from the same assembly as well as a different assembly. Assembly is nothing but it is a group of different classes. Next is internal. It is accessible within every class but within the same assembly only. Next is private protected. This is accessible within its class and within the derived class as well. And private, it is accessible only within the class. So this file type is a different thing. It is accessible only within the file. So I hope you guys understand. So private is the least privileged access modifier. It is accessible only within its class. And private protected, private within its class and protected within its derived class from the same assembly. And next is internal. So I hope you guys understand this access modifier now. So using this access modifier, we will provide privilege restriction to this field, and we will bind this data to a public function. This is about encapsulation. So encapsulation is nothing but hiding the internal state and functionality of an object and only allowing access through a public set of functions, and we achieve this using access modifiers and properties. So we will be seeing inheritance and polymorphism in the next class. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe and stay with me for more videos on C# interview series. Thanks for watching.